The topic for our professional development is Google Classroom, and I like to call it paperless teaching because when you use Google Classroom regularly, it reduces the amount of paperwork you have in your classroom. The goals and objectives for our workshops are that teachers will develop and implement an assignment in Google Classroom that is aligned to their curriculum. After viewing the tutorials, teachers will create a Google Classroom and add Mrs. Turlington as a teacher. Using Google Docs, teachers will create an assignment aligned to their curriculum and post it in Google Classroom. Teachers will have students join their classroom and complete the assignment. Now, there are some incentives in it for you to be able to participate and to complete the activities. First, you will earn 0.6 CEUs for technology credits. So if you are in need of tech credits for license renewal, you'll get plenty of them from this workshop. I got our principal to agree to offer you 1 hour of comp time that you can use to leave early on a day if you need to leave early for something, so you have that incentive, and 2 extra computer lab times during my flex time where you can drop your class off and you can have an extra planning time for yourself. So in order to earn these things, you need to complete all the activities in our workshops. So why did I feel that it was important to teach you about Google Classroom, and why do I really want you to try to use it? One, like I already mentioned, it's less papers. I know when I was in the classroom, there were so many times I would take home a bag full of papers, and honestly, sometimes I didn't even touch them in the evenings, or if I did, sometimes I would leave a set of papers at school and I'd be grading them at home, and I couldn't do anything then because they were in my classroom. So it reduces your paperwork. 2, it's a resource for students. So if you, let's say, have a student that's struggling, you could put resources on Google Classroom that they can go back to independently so that then you have that free time to work with other students. Also, if a student is absent and needs to catch up on a lesson, you could have that information in Google Classroom. You could video yourself teaching a lesson, put it into YouTube, and put it into your Google Classroom, and they could watch a lesson that they missed. So it's a really good resource for students. Now, in these workshops, we're not going to get into the whole creating a video on you and putting it on YouTube. Since you've never used Google Classroom before, we're going to stick to the basics through these workshops. The third thing is accessibility. And one, going back to what I was talking about, the papers, where if I left something at school and I'm sitting at home one night wanting to grade stuff, I don't have it. Well, if they completed an assignment on Google Classroom, I can access it anywhere that I have internet access. Or if I'm going to be out one day, I can go onto Google Classroom, put assignments on there for the kids. Maybe it's an unexpected absence, so I didn't have time to get lessons together. I could do stuff from home and have assignments on there for my students to do that day. And the last one, effective feedback. It's so much easier to give feedback on Google Classroom than writing on each individual paper and taking class time to give feedback. I'm not saying you should not do those things still. You should still give feedback on paper assignments and in general to the class, but this really makes it more efficient to give feedback to your students. So now I'm going to have you join the classroom that I created for our workshop. So I'd like you to go ahead, log into your Gmail, and we are not using our regular Gmail. We will be using the harnetstudents.org accounts, because when you use Google Apps with your students, that is the account that you need to use. So go ahead and log into your harnetstudents.org account. Once you're logged in to that email, you see the symbol at the top. I call it a Rubik's Cube. I believe Google might call it a waffle, but a lot of the students know what a Rubik's Cube is, so that's why I call it that, to help them remember that. So go ahead, click on that. And you need to scroll down and find the Google Classroom app, and you'll click on that. Now, if you have used Google Classroom before, you will see the classes you've created. If you have not, you need to find where it says IMA and select the blue teacher button. Do not click student, because if you click student, you'll be able to join my class, but you will not be able to create a class when it comes time to doing that. Once you've done that, you should see a plus sign in the upper right corner. Please click on that. And you should be given two options: join class or create class. For now, we're joining a class. You will create a class later on as you work through the online tutorials. When you click join class, you want to enter the class code to join. And this is the class code next to the bullet point. It's OOWJVI. You'll type that on the blue line and then click the join button. So now you are in our Google Classroom, and most of the tutorials will be online. You just need to work through them. If you have any questions at any time, please feel free to come see me, email me. We'll meet again in November, probably the second week of November, to share the assignments that we've created for our students.